state your name.
My name is Albert Mami. I graduated from the University of Galesburg with a film degree.
What drove you to create this documentary?
I was heavily inspired by the movies, of course, and my role models of documentary filmmaking and other directors, including Martin Scorsese, Joseph Adamkiewicz, the director of the Santa films, and I wanted to paint a picture of um, what beautiful things can come out of these stories, and I wanted to tell the story of the stories and how they came to be. In the Santa movies, You Slay Me, we have a profound story that draws on themes of overcoming challenges, brotherhood and community, and tackling social justice issues such as racial inequality. Now, these themes that come up in these films, you see very evidently throughout the first, second, and third film, but the fourth film is interesting because it takes a step back. And the first three films actually exist in the fourth film. Now, the third film actually is meta in its own way, where the first two films take place within, or the first movie takes place within the second and third movies, where the second is the first part of the third movie, and the third part is part two, of course. Now, fourth takes an even further step out, so now we have three different layers of the You Slay Me movies, where we have the first layer, which is the first movie, You Slay Me, Santa movie, You Slay Me. And then the second one, the first movie exists in that as a microcosm in a separate universe, a pocket universe, if you will. Now, the second universe we have is the You Slay Me Also, the second movie. And that is just part one. And that ends, of course, on this cliffhanger where the three brothers are trapped in these small ornaments, these small red ornaments. The third movie takes place and it brings it to the next generation. Now, this is the beginning where we see the You Slay movies taking on this entire community of the Metro Dearborn Heights area in these films. Now, it's really interesting how they pick up right from where it left off. The third movie picks up right from where the second movie left off. And now we have Zeke, the main character, and he's young, and he's the new generation of Santa lovers. Santa trying to steal his soul now. We see all these different themes playing on. We see what's happening with this third movie and what's going on. And now we move into the fourth movie, and now it's even a further layer, and we realize that the fourth movie is actually contains the second, third, and then the first movie. Because it's a microcosm of the second and third movie, the fourth movie is now even above layer. So we have three different layers. The inner layer, the core, what we call the Santa core when we're studying these movies. That's the Santa core. That's the You Slay Me, the original movie. Then the second movie and the third movie, which are basically part one and two of the same story. And then the fourth movie, which takes an even wider look, and it draws on themes of redemption and hope.
One?
Yes, yes.
Acting business. All right. Um. Yeah. It all started with You Slay Me 3. That was my. Some would say that's my breakout role.
How was the behind the scenes work? Was it a toxic work environment, or was it pretty amiable most of the time? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, I don't like to talk about that too much. I would say there's a lot of toxic stuff going on, but nothing too bad. I mean, and for a child, like it was a lot for me.
Now, of course, in my studies at the Santa University, we have, as a prerequisite to film studies, we have to take psychological evaluations of ourselves, and we have to take a series of psychology classes. The professor there, Mr. Giovanni Vitale II, he was incredibly influential, and he kind of turned me on to these Santa movies, and he showed me the deep psychological pains that the actors went through in order to produce these films. So it's fascinating as I began my study and my work on them at the Santa University. Learning the history of these films. So I know what I'm talking about. I've watched the films over 90 hours worth in the past 3 weeks, just to prepare for this interview. But yeah.
It actually works pretty well. It dims more than it used to.
I can still hear it. You want its full brightness?
Yeah. Ooh.
Garbage fires. That's right.
Where are we headed, John?
We're heading to the Farnham Court Fitness Park to get some reps in.
That's right, that's right. Let's get moving.
Really good, for goodness sake.
You better be good for goodness sake.
Okay, so
How much good work did we get done today?
not a lot.
Not a lot, you don't think? Do you think we did a lot today? Got a lot done?
I just hope we don't disappoint Mom.
That is...
She doesn't have a lot of years left. Hey, wait, you look really creepy right now.
You look even creepier.
Wait, I'm talking about seriously creepy stuff.
Mhm.
Nighttime stuff.
Aha, excellent.
I like to put this little sock over my goosely tail.
Sometimes I put the sock over me goosely tail.
Zeke's got no respect.
Yeah, Zeke, you've had shotgun this entire time.
Don't send that to anybody. Luke, do not send.
52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Hope that's good.
Oh my gosh, Luke, this is the greatest idea we've ever had. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. We gotta clean these leaves out of here though, because we don't want those burning.
Yeah.
Let me move my car up. I'm just getting good stuff with this one for real.
We are en route to the location.
I can't see a dang.
We're here shooting on location in the south end of
What you got next to you, John?
your worst nightmare.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Don't do that. This is not safe.
I use so much gas, man.
All right. Thank you, Saint Sebastian himself, for allowing us use of his property.
The cops are here. Can you see me on
All right, we just finished some parkour, some running around here at what's this place called? Gourmet Park? Grant Park in Royal Oak. Joey, our director, executive producer, location scout. He and chef. He has a few words to say about the production. What do you have to say, Mr. Adamkevich?
We've had our fair share of setbacks
That's right.
and budgetary constraints, but all things considered, I think we're well on the way to producing something you will never forget.
That's right. Isn't that right, John?
Si, senor.
All right, now we're gonna quit the racism and get back on the road. Catch you later. How do you feel these movies were impactful on society in the greater Dearborn Heights area?
In the Dearborn Heights area, it's never been the same, to be honest. I'm sorry. I don't know if I could do this. Our town was changed forever. It's still difficult to go out in public. Sometimes I'm recognized as being the daughter of this the owner of this prop, excuse me. So there's kind of a darkness that settled over the town. There's an occasional bright spot, but it has changed us on a very deep level.
Ms. Fettuccini, I want to thank you for joining us for this interview. I know you're an avid fan of the series. What is your What is your connection to the You Slay Me series?
Well, when I was a young child, I used to watch these with my 17 brothers and sisters. It was every Christmas Eve we'd sit down and we would watch them, and such a lovely memory. And ever since I saw the first You Slay Me movie, my life's been forever changed.
On a more personal level, how has the franchise impacted you?
Well, many people may know that my mother also owned other Santas. This prop was not her only Santa, and there are others. And I have been, I do have a disability now because of the condition brought on, the great PTSD, the post-traumatic Santa disorder that I've developed. So it has impacted me, but I do recall in the fourth installment, there was a good deal of redemption. There's hope. So I would love to see these directors, these producers that are making films nowadays, that are trying to make more wholesome content, if maybe they could provide that hope to viewers rather than the scary things like You Slay Me. Is that enough? Because I really don't have anything else to say.
What is your response to critics of the films who say they are, one quote says, absurd, another one says, unnecessary?
Unnecessary? Unnecessary? What are you talking about, you crazy people? This is necessary. Everything in my life revolves around Santa. Like, these movies are the purpose for my life. How could they be absurd? How could they be unnecessary when they give me purpose? What do they say about you, my boy? They say that you're necessary.
So yeah, this is one interpretation of Santa that we're seeing more in modern day retellings of the Santa story, where Santa is actually portrayed as the villain. This was a unique interpretation for the creators of the You Slay Me series, and I believe they desired to put a different story in place of Santa, tell another side of the story. We often get in movies and books and stories what Santa is feeling, and this is putting a different twist on that. And what are his victims feeling, the victims of Santa Claus, and kind of, I think it's a microcosm on the theme of commercialization of Santa Claus and how he's become sort of a villain.
I have the chance to meet those wonderful creators, the ones who brought that story to life. Oh, I would just come at you and I love you and I kiss you and it's just like, thank you so much for this. Thank you for the Santa.
I think there's a lot of good things that happen through this. I feel like it inspires a lot of the youth, to go out and do good things after like seeing this. It's more of the movies are more of an example of what not to do. Recently, I started a nonprofit organization. I named it after somebody who's been a real role model in my life. He's done many great things. I call it the Mark Beltowski Foundation. Sorry. So the Mark Beltowski Foundation provides resources for viewers of the films who are psychologically impaired, chemically imbalanced people who just need some help after seeing the films, because I totally, like, even being in them, like, I totally understand. It's a tough burden to carry watching those films. So it's just to provide resources for people like that.
Please state your name for the record. What? I'm sorry. What was your name? Are you familiar with the You Slay Me franchise of movies? Who is You Slay Me?
The guy that goes into a house and kills people.
Were the movies scary?
Yes.
Are you scarred for life?
Yeah.
What have you learned through the creation of this film?
I've learned a lot about brotherhood, the power of community, and the importance of social justice issues such as the environment, racial inequality, as well as the COVID-19 pandemic and the impacts that had on the entire world.
Mr. Mummy, do you have any personal connection to the films?
Yes. When I was, of course, researching the films, I was doing a lot of research, and I found that I actually have a common ancestor with the actors in the film. They mention a von Blankert family, and we share a common ancestor with him. So he is my great distant relative. But also, I mean, on terms of a personal level as well, the stories impacted me very much in my personal life. They caused my divorce when I spent so much time listening to and watching the films that my wife Ingrid left me. She left me for a Santa impersonator named Bill, who worked at Kohl's, I believe, the store Kohl's, I think it is called. But after that, I really sunk into researching the films and spending about 90% of my days watching them and discovering the hidden gems of beauty in them and finding solace in from my heartbreak and pouring my life into researching and discovering the beauty of these films.